Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. The watch you see here launched in late 2012 for the 2013 model year, built in 50 pieces in rose gold, and also 50 pieces in white gold. This is the Cartier Ballon Bleu double jumping second time zone. So it is not the double jumping second time zone, it's the double jumping second time zone, and I'll show you why that is. It is double jumping and it has a second time zone. Pull out that distinctive Ballon Bleu crown, and let me make sure I got it right there. Watch me advance 2 time zones with a single instantaneous jump. It is a phenomenal piece of horological theater on top of a flying tourbillon. The 2000s were the era of the Ballon Bleu. Launched in 2002, the Ballon Bleu became the engine that drove Cartier expansion during the decade. And as with the rise of the Ballon Bleu, we saw the rise of Cartier fine watchmaking under Carol Forestier-Casapi, who was one of the great watchmakers and engineers of our era. And for a time, Cartier went hard and heavy into high mech and high tech. And that's exactly what we have here. Watches like these have been phased out for the most part at Cartier. They're focusing on mid-luxury today. This is a relic of a bygone era, an era of not wretched excess, but wonderful excess that surpassed expectations and elevated Cartier back to its historical station as the king of jewelers and the jeweler to kings, or perhaps we should say the watchmaker. Here we have a watch that is as large as the reputation Cartier would imply. 46 millimeters in diameter, it's 14 millimeters thick, 49 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. And you can see it's effectively a lugless watch. It wears like a big bulb on the wrist, broad, flat, and surprisingly compact. Although it's a 46, at 49 millimeters lug to lug, this actually wears quite nicely on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. I would wear this, and I think you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as mine. 16 centimeters circumference or larger, game on. You're gonna like the way this looks and fits. And while it is not a thin watch, it is a generously sloped case flank. 14 millimeters is not exceptionally thick for what it is. It will slide underneath a dress cuff. You get the feeling of something truly special, as it has an immense mass to it. The strap is proprietary. You can see that from how it joins to the lugs. There's a little bit of bolstering, give it volume. Large rectangular scale alligator leather. And though you can't quite see it, it's dark brown rather than black. We have a thin folded edge, a monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom. Take note, this is a brand new Cartier factory strap. There is no perforation on the strap because the watch features the latest version of the deployant clasp, originally created by Louis Cartier in 1909. It was, without a doubt, the first ever folding clasp. And you can see it has a Cartier C built into it, but it also has a smart system that cinches and clinches the strap. So what you do is you feed the strap through, and then once you've sized it to fit your wrist, you close it up, and all of the excess length hides underneath the clasp body and the strap itself, which is why there are no minder loops on the strap. So this is a historically important piece, but it's also a very clean one once sized. The watch is simple, Ballon Bleu. It is a big blue balloon, so named for the crown, which features a spinel cabochon. And I have to say, while most Ballon Bleu watches are an absolute chore to wind, this one, which is manual wind, clearly had some thought put into the tactile and sensual experience of winding it. So whereas most automatic Ballon Bleu are almost impossible to wind manually, this one is quite easy to wind, and thanks to the beaded crown, it's actually a pleasure to do so. Now the watch is a very simple case design. There is a big rounded profile, very minimal lugs, and then we have a flange that surrounds the sapphire. The dial is skeletonized and silvered. We do have a blued hand at center that represents your minutes, so While the watch is not billed as such, it is a regulator. You have a tourbillon that acts as your seconds hand, you have a minute hand that is a scale at center, and then you have two separate dials for your two separate time zones. So this watch is, in addition to being a dual time zone and a flying tourbillon, it is a regulator and a jump hour. Now the tourbillon is beautiful, built by Roger Dubuis at a special shop inside of Roger Dubuis, Geneva. It is constructed to Geneva hallmark standards. That's why you can see that, for example, the Cartier the regulator assembly, and the remainder of the tourbillon carriage, all black polished. There's gorgeous engine turning on the base plate and bridges of the movement, and if you look carefully, you can see that there's a hairspring, and then there is a lever, a hairspring and a lever on each side. So watch carefully now. As I advance through the jump, you can see on each side the jumping mechanism is fully revealed. You can also see it underneath the skeletonized primary time zone. Note the standard of finish. Every edge is mirrored anglage on every bridge. We have polished locating pins and black polished screw heads. You can see the satination of the jumper mechanism, which is in steel. And then we have two separate time zones, one of which is indexed using a pusher on the case flank, so it is very quick, simple, and even fun to operate. And note, this is a flying tourbillon. There's no upper bridge blocking your view. All of this is 30 meters water resistant. When we turn it over, you can see the backside of the Cartier caliber 9456 MC. There is the Poisson de Genève, and Cartier, located in La Chaux-de-Fonds, would not qualify for the Geneva hallmark, but because Richemont also owns Roger Dubuis, a shop was set up inside Dubuis to construct these high-mech Geneva hallmark Cartier movements. You can see a double C style underpinning for the tourbillon cage. You can even see its driving wheel and pinion. There is a lovely satinated and mirror beveled click spring, and the watch with a manual wind 50-hour power reserve pivots on 44 joules, and it beats away at a stately 21,600 vibrations per hour. There is a lot to love here. This watch is everything you imagine a Cartier watch would be. It looks like something a king truly would wear, or maybe a prince, or maybe you. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.